Call the meeting to order. Thank all you folks for being here tonight. It's good to see a good crowd in the room. If you would, please bow your heads for an invitation. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight to conduct business of this county. A wonderful place to live and a place that we wish to keep that way. We ask, O Lord, that you bless all the citizens of Harris County and keep them safe from harm. Guide them in their everyday duties and activities and protect them. We ask also, O Lord, that you protect the men and women who protect our freedoms that have been won by many, many folks over years and years. We ask that you help us continue to protect this nation, O Lord, and to grow it in the direction that is pleasing to you. We ask, O Lord, that you be with us as we deliberate tonight, and that our decisions be made based on knowledge and wisdom and information. We thank you, O Lord, for caring for us and looking over us, and we ask your continued blessings. We ask in your name. Amen. Amen. Now I'd like to ask Commissioner Langston if she would lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the minutes from the regular session of May 17th. Do I have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. And I'll abstain. Minutes are approved. Appearance of citizens. There are 4 that have signed up to speak on Standing Boy Creek. Those will be handled when we get to the public hearing. Are there any others there?
No, sir.
Okay. Old business. The Springstead salary compensation and classification study. This was conducted over several months, and then several discussions with the Springstead staff, department heads, and employees. Springstead submitted their preliminary findings to us and their revised definitions, any changes in name of the position, as well as the suggested new rates, pay grades, in salary ranges. That was shared with all the department heads, shared with all the constitutional officers. There were then subsequent meetings with the Springstead staff, and there was still some disagreement as to where items were placed. That was then completed, and Springstead submitted their revised program to us, at which time, as we had told them, they would have one final, those that still had some disagreement, they would have one final avenue, and that was to approach the Board of Commissioners and discuss what they thought should be changed and why. That has happened, and we now have before us a final, at least at this point in time, a final proposed salary compensation and classification study, which includes reducing the number of grades, pay grades, but increasing the range of the pay grades to be a little bit larger. It also, part of this study was to compare what we were paying, what we are currently paying, with like cities or counties that were similar to ours as far as population, as far as proximity to a larger metropolitan area, as far as just the general way of life in that particular area. Those have been reviewed. Your commissioners have spent a good number of hours going over this and reviewing it. And at this point in time, we are prepared to come before you with a motion, and I will make that motion just because it's complicated. Counselor, if I misstep, let me know, please. We adopt the Springstead pay grades, job descriptions, and salary ranges as they have been amended through our discussion process, to include the implementation based on option number 2, whereby all employees will receive a pay increase of at least 2%. It could be more for those employees whose pay rate is being raised to the minimum rate. That would then mean it was more than a 2% increase. The intent to adopt the annual CPI, Consumer Price Index, adjusted for the local area to reset the salary pay ranges each year, and with the intent to review and provide for longevity raises within the next few years. That is being recommended. The cost of that is a little over $417,000. The impact on the county on an annual basis. That is the motion that I would make at this point in time, and would entertain a second. Second. A motion and a second. Discussion.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I wasn't against the, I was against the compensation study to begin with. Every stock report I've ever read said the compensation study said we should increase it 10% or something like that as far as executive officers in the corporate world. I'm going to quote Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's partner and financial guru. He would rather have a viper put down his shirt than do a compensation study. Had a viper, it's down our shirt, it's bit us. What concerns me is I think that this will lead to at least a $1 million pay raise within the next year or two, and potentially a 2 mil or a 30% millage rate as far as the county is concerned within 5 years.
Right. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would say is this, to make sure that I understand your intent, is that you will annually consider the raise, the adjustment on the CPI every year, as opposed to automatically going up here.
That's correct. It's the intent to adopt that.
Right. That you will consider.
It will be reviewed each year.
Each year, okay.
The language is intent to review.
Right. You know, so many of these in our, certainly the federal government tied to CPI, and it just goes and there's no way to stop it. And so if you review it annually, you can at least have some control over it.
Yeah, we discussed that language specifically in our meeting, and we didn't want to absolutely bind ourselves to our future commission to that. So we had to review it each year and just make that decision.
Any other comments, discussion? All right, hearing none, then all in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Any other old business to bring forward this body?
I have a couple things, just to let people know. There had been a discussion about the intersection of Highway 27 and Highway 116 East, and that has been widened now by the state, which will allow some of the semi-trucks when they turn to have a little more room. So hopefully it'll be a safer intersection, not to say that that's the best in the world, but at least it's a little bit better. Also, I contacted DOT on a matter that Scott Moy had presented about some water building up between the two driveways at Cook Foods, and they said they're definitely sending their engineers looking into that, because of course it's a danger. But still, at this time, no movement on getting the water rerouted so that it does not go onto his property. I'm still looking forward to receiving a call from one of the engineers to discuss it further, but so far not, they're not holding out any hope. And the other thing, I just thought it would be good, Commissioner Loudermilk, have been so proactive regarding the trash, is the volume of trash pickup in the county, and I think it's something we need to, make known so people understand when we see a little bit of trash, it's not just there, it's all over the county, and to me, it's massive. And we're talking about for the month of March, it's like, May, it's like over 1,100 pounds of trash that we throw out. And I think all total, there's a total on here that the county has been responsible for picking up, which is over 3,000 pounds for April and May. So it just kind of gives you an idea, and that's every month after month, these kind of figures are coming in. And of course, that uses up a lot of time of people who can be doing other things for the county, and whether it's mowing the right-of-ways or doing other things. So it's hard to catch somebody throwing out trash, but as proactive as we can all be, it would be helpful.
Thanks, Commissioner Chooney, for bringing that up. It's still a problem. Folks, just be careful about trash. I think a lot of it comes from folks that have pickup trucks that throw things in the back of the pickup truck and think it's just going to stay there. It's not. It's going to blow out. Because I've seen it over and over again going down the highway. And Commissioner Chooney mentioned 3,000 pounds. That's a ton and a half in 2 months. And it's that way month after month after month. And folks can do better than that. We need to keep. We love our county. It's a beautiful place, but it really bars it up when there's trash all over the place.
Thank you, Commissioner Loudermilk.
I want to speak to someone.
I think it does show that it continues, and it's, we all need to be mindful of that. And just if we'll do our small part, maybe others will follow our examples. Just ask that you do that. All right, on to new business. First is health insurance. At our last meeting, May 17th, we voted to renew the county's insurance for its employees' medical, dental, and vision with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and chose option 3. Option 3 would have increased or had the employees begin to pay, the individual employee begin to pay for part of their insurance. As we followed the Springstead options and discussed pay in general, we have had a change of heart. And at this point in time, I believe that there is interest in rescinding that motion and accepting another option. And I will entertain a motion at this point.
I would like to make the motion then that we rescind the May 17th vote for the health insurance for county employees in its entirety. Do you want these as separate motions?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to rescind our decision of May the 17th. Any discussion? All in favor of that motion, please signify by raising your hands. Opposed? Okay, now we need to put something in its place, and I would entertain a motion to that effect.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve option 1, which is no changes.
We need to increase the HRA deductible. It's no one pays to the employees, they don't see it.
Right.
Okay.
Option 1,
Two.
option 3. We chose 3 before, okay. Option 1. Okay. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Discussion.
I'd like to ask if we know what the dollar difference would be if we chose option 2. I mean, I know what the premium difference is, we have that before us, but as far as the net result, the difference would, there'd be no difference to the employees between 1 and 2, is that correct? Correct. Okay, but that, with the higher
But there
deductible.
would be, wouldn't there?
No.
Increases the out-of-pocket.
No, our out-of-pocket is at $63.50. The employees will really only pay $1,000. The county reimburses them anything above the $1,000 up to the $63.50. So they won't see that.
They will see that.
No.
They won't see a difference. We will.
But the difference that the county will see by raising the out-of-pocket and deductible in option 2, do we have any kind of ballpark idea?
The difference from 133 to 159.
No, what I'm saying is, for where we reimburse that difference in the out-of-pocket, that difference that the county will be paying, do we have any idea?
The difference in the out-of-pocket, it
Yes.
depends
Yeah,
each year on
yeah.
who gets it.
But the likelihood of it being more than the difference in the premiums.
I forget the exact number, Martha, but the number of employees who hit that number each year is relatively small.
So the premium difference would not make up that. It's going to be, premium difference is greater than what we would pay as a reimbursement, most likely.
Most likely, yeah, it's close. It is close. I was looking to see if I had that from the last meeting, but I don't. But no, it's very close. We looked at that pretty strongly a couple of years ago. Okay, so we have any other discussion?
I just want to make a comment. The reason we're considering doing this, for the benefit of the public as well as any county employees that are here. The reason that we want to change what we're doing on the insurance, we just voted to give all the employees at least a 2% pay increase. And we don't want to take that away from you by having to pay increased insurance costs. Otherwise, you know, whatever increase in pay you get is going to be eaten up by your insurance costs. So that's the reason for the change. Just wanted to.
And I'd also like to add, I believe the increase from last year's premium to this year's premium is 14%, if I remember right.
Oh, if we kept everything the way it was? 10%.
10%.
It results in a 10% increase.
Yeah.
That was taken from their,
Yeah. It would have been 10% increase. All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next item on the agenda is open the public hearing now for fiscal year budget 16-17. I believe there are copies of the budget available on the back table. This budget will include not only the general fund, but also the airport budget, solid waste budget, waterworks, and small funds. It includes raising the salary of employees, as we have just passed in the earlier motion, that the increase will at least be 2% per employee or greater. Those employees not affected by the minimum will receive a 2% increase, and that the county will therefore absorb the increase in medical and health insurance premiums rather than passing on a portion to the employees as we just passed. There will be a second public hearing at our next meeting on June the 17th. Any comments at this point on any of the budget items?
That should be June 21.
Thank you. All right. Hearing none then, this will conclude the first reading, the first public hearing on this. And the second will occur on June 21, at which time, after we have had that hearing, we will then vote on that budget, whether to accept it or not. Next item are certain appointments that need to be made. The Board of Health has a vacant position, which is for the executive officer of the governing authority or his appointee. That position was held by Greg Wood. Term is for the term of the chairman. I would like to table this one until a future date.
It was only on here because the Board of Health was asked to have somebody up in there.
I would, if someone would like to volunteer for that position, the board,
I would like to, I might volunteer for it, but I would like to know those involved.
okay. If you would give Nancy and Sandy, and we'll come up with that for the next meeting. Okay, the next one is a Board of Zoning Adjustments. Appointment is needed to complete the term of Rick Cozine, who represented District 3, Commissioner Langston's district, who resigned in April. This unexpired term will run through September the 30th, 2017. Commissioner Langston, do you have a?
I do. I would like to recommend Mr. Dewey Batchelor, who was a resident of District 3, and you have some vital information there in your packet on him. He was a residential general contractor, and I think he went a lot to the DCA.
All right.
A second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of appointing Mr. Dewey Batchelor to this unexpired term, please signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. And the other one is Valley Partnership Joint Development Authority. The term of Harry Lang expired March the 14th, 2016. The new term will expire March 2014, 2020, and it's recommended that Harry Lang be reappointed.
I'll make that motion.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hands. Motion carried. Okay. Next is the stipend request from the Council of Fire Chiefs. As you will recall, back in September 2013, Melody Lakes Volunteer Fire Department was disbanded. It was left their stipend in the amount of $12,736 for that fiscal year untouched. On January the 14th of 2014, the Board of Commissioners voted and approved the request of the Council of Fire Chiefs to divide the fiscal year 13-14 stipend amount of Melody Lakes along with, or among, the other 11 fire departments, each receiving $1,157.82. The budgets for fiscal year 14-15 and fiscal year 15-16 also included the $12,736 for Melody Lakes, and that total stipend was carried over from one to the next, deducting Melody Lakes. We now have a request from the fire chiefs. They requested that the stipend set aside for Melody Lakes in 2014-15 and 2015-16 $12,736 per year be divided among the 11 fire departments so that each department receives $11,057.82 per year for a total of $2,315.64. Request number 2 of the Council of Fire Chiefs, they requested that the stipend for each volunteer fire department be increased by $1,157.82 per year, which would therefore increase, or the total stipend per year would be then $13,893.82.
Mr. Chairman, I received an email today from a chief pointing out to me that the Council of Fire Chiefs' request was actually to divide it among the 10 departments, not including West Point. I inadvertently said 11 because that's the way we did it the first go around.
Does West Point have a paid fire department?
They have a
They do,
pay-
but they get a regular stipend from us.
And they also provide fire service within the county.
My recommendation would be that we continue to do it for 11 because of that. They do provide support for the other departments in the county when needed. They do handle our business park and some other areas that in the West Point area, and they have been getting the stipend for all this time anyway, and I just don't see discriminating between them at this point. I would entertain the motion.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the request.
Which
That's for
request?
the 11?
Well, for the 11.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. All right. Now we have, this is.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
It's 7:30.
I think we can get through this.
Okay.
We have an application for packaged liquor, beer, and wine off premise at Billy Bob's Party Shop. Applicant is Valjit Sandhu. Billy Bob's Party Shop, 6052 Georgia Highway 85, Ellerslie. Again, it's off premises. The Sheriff Office recommends approval. Health Department is not applicable, and Community Development recommends disapproval. I believe, and Brian, you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the disapproval stems from there is no occupational license that has been applied for, and the building needs to be inspected for change of occupancy.
But,
So both of those have still not happened.
correct.
All right. Is Mr. Sandhu here?
I'm his manager, Tracy Thomas.
Okay, would you like to say something?
We can take care of that, have them inspected, have it come in.
Well, we can't, I don't believe we can do that until it has been done. So I think what we will have to do is rather than vote to deny this, we will have to table this request. And if you would get with Mr. Williams and take care of those items well before the next meeting, then we can put it on.
This is just the first reading.
The first reading, so we
We'll-
can hold it over to the next meeting, and if it has been accomplished, you can consider it. If it has not, then that would be a grounds for denial.
And the other thing is, please fill out the application, particularly the place of birth, India, is not very descriptive, considering the number of people that live there.
Okay. No, this is the same.
Okay. All right, but anyway, this is the first reading. We'll have the second reading in our next meeting, and we'll have those taken care of by then.
Maybe we'll see if anybody wants to speak here.
Yeah. Are there any folks here who wish to speak in support of this application? Are there any of you who wish to speak in opposition? All right.
When you speak from here, you were speaking on.
You can speak from here.
This location is not only in my district, it's in my neighborhood. It's a mile away from my house. It says Billy Bob's Party Shop. It's Billy Bob's service station, which already sells beer and wine. And it's also next door to Luke's Pub, which sells beer and wine. So if you wanted something to drink, off premises, you could go to Bob's. If you wanted something to drink right then, you could go to Luke's and get something to drink. That's enough alcohol in one location. So I'll be opposing this. I would encourage my fellow petitioners to oppose this, and for those reasons.
Thank you, Commissioner Loudon. All right, so we'll have the second reading at our next meeting. All right, it is 7:30 and time for our public hearings. While the commissioners are filling out their conflict of interest statements, I will read the procedure. We'll call the meeting to order, then the applicant will make his or her presentation as to what they wish to have, or they may have a representative do that for them. When those have been completed, we will hear comments from individuals who are in favor of the application. After that, we will hear comments from individuals who are in opposition to the application. Following that, the applicant or his or her representative will have the option of the right to come up and make any rebuttal comments or any closing remarks they would like for us to hear. Commissioners will then ask questions, and after that has been completed, we will close the public hearing and take action on the item. The first application, the application of Mary Ann Armijo. Is that the correct pronunciation?
That's correct.
Property owner is William B. Plyatt. Location is approximately 3/10 of a mile west of Harris Road on Georgia Highway 208, Waverly Hall. It's 8.023 acres in land lot 11, land district 21, map 079, parcel 036. It is currently zoned R1, which is single family residential. The request is to rezone it to A1, General Agricultural Forestry District. The present use is vacant. Proposed use is home and farm. The Planning Commission has recommended approval, and the staff has recommended approval. If you would now please come forward, sit at the table, pull the microphone up to you, and make whichever, tell us your name and where you reside, and tell us what you want to do.
My name is Mary Ann Armijo, currently reside at 729 James Way in Midland. And we purchased this property off 208. And currently right now, I just want to have it rezoned to agriculture for agricultural use.
All right. Just for home and agriculture with this property now.
Yes, sir.
All right. I will now entertain any individuals out here who wish to speak in support of this application. Any who wish to speak in support of this application? All right. Hearing none, are there any who wish to speak in opposition to this application? Yes, sir.
Excuse me for not standing, but I'm not physically able to stand.
That's fine. I think we can hear you,
I
sir.
just would like to ask you what you propose to do with the land.
Just agriculture.
Well, what kind of agriculture? You go farming or
Yes, sir.
raise cattle, all for what?
We're probably getting a couple of horses, but we're going to raise our own fruits and vegetables.
And do what now?
A couple of horses.
Could you repeat that so we can?
Grow our own fruits and vegetables.
You don't have it. Any plans to start a hog farm?
Oh, no. No, that's not my interest.
The problem I see is what you're doing, you're creating spot zoning. You got a little 8-acre spot and probably an area of 400 or 500 acres. It's residential. There's no way to value the residential property come down. That's my objection. I think.
Well, the
You might consider that.
that surrounds the property is agricultural.
But it's zoned residential, so evidently the people who did the zoning thought it was more highest and best use would be residential. And if you change that, you affect everything around it. It's just, how many acres do you reckon it is around it?
It's 1,000 and some acres that surround it, which is forestry.
Would it be changing?
It's agricultural forestry.
Would it be permissible for me to show Judge Wisner? this
Sure.
that we have?
Yeah, let me see that.
I think we know who he is.
The document that I have here is from the community development, and what it's showing is that right along here, this is residential, there's several homes and small lots. All of the land here is zoned agricultural, and the property right here is what's in question, so it would then, if we agree to this rezoning, it would then become the same as what is already around it and already immediately north of it. Makes sense? Is it helpful?
You saying this is already rezoned?
This is already agricultural around
Well, where
it.
is the residential? Is that where she is now?
She is now, and then all of them is just that triangular piece right there.
That's one of the other pieces residential.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Anyone else would like to see this?
Thank you for your comments, Judge Wisner. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Any other comments which speak in opposition? All right, Mrs. Romeo, do you have any closing comments? Other than, all right, commissioners, do you have any questions of Ms. Romeo? I have one.
Okay.
Judge was concerned about a hog farm,
Yep.
which could be allowed in agricultural, I believe. Would you be, would you accept a condition for your rezoning that no hog farm be put there?
Oh, I will not have no hogs. I don't like dogs, so.
Judge Wisdom, would that be helpful to you?
Yes, it would.
All right, any other comments or questions for commissioners? All right, then I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. I don't know that this property is in my actual district, but it's near my house. I know exactly where it is. And it is completely surrounded by timberland. And I think they cut some trees over there near the property now. I think the A1 zoning would be appropriate. I would make a motion to approve the zoning change with that condition about the hot farm.
Since this is in my district, District 1, I want to say.
I'm sorry.
No problem, no problem.
I passed by there, I passed by on the way here. So I passed by there.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning from R1 to A1 with the condition that no hog farm be allowed on this property.
I don't think you have a word like that.
Do I have any discussion? All right, all in favor of that motion, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries unanimously. You have your rezoning with that one condition. And thank you very much. Thank you, Judge Wisdom. Appreciate it. All right, the next is a public hearing for the application of Standing Boy Creek Farms, LLC, by Carl White. It's approximately a half a mile northwest of Creekwood Court on Whitesville Road, Fortson, in land lots 168 and 169, and District 19, map 031, parcel 032. For 8 acres, the use requested was outdoor weddings and similar events. The use is permitted in A1, C1, and C4. Property is zoned A1. Planning Commission recommended disapproval. The staff has recommended disapproval. We have since received, since the Planning Commission meeting, we have since received a letter from the Whites requesting that they be allowed to withdraw their application for a special use permit and they say they plan to revise it at some later point in time. With that request for withdrawal, that then becomes the item that we need to answer to tonight. That they have requested their withdrawal. The Planning Commission did recommend denial, and the Whites now have made this request. And as we always do, that request will be considered first. And if the withdrawal is granted, that will close that application, and no further actions will be heard or considered. Now, as to any activities that are against our ordinances that may be occurring, they will, on this property, they will be investigated, and if evidence confirms the unauthorized activities are there, then citations will be issued. Any actions will conform to proper legal procedure. So we now have before us the motion or the request to withdraw their application, and I would entertain a motion as to that request.
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of any motion that you may consider and take up in the withdrawal, your zoning ordinance provides that you shall determine whether the withdrawal shall be subject to a 24-month interval before refiling, or, and I think that it goes ahead in another section, or a minimum of 6 months. So that should be part of your motion as well, as to whether the withdrawal of this particular use would be, request would be subject to 24 months before it can refile for a special use permit, or whether it would be a minimum of 6 months or something in between.
All right, sir. All right. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, this application is for a location in my district, which is District 3. I'd like to make the motion that we accept the White's withdrawal of the application, and I would also like to make the stipulation that no other application for a special use permit can be made for the next 2 years.
All right, we have a motion to accept the withdrawal, with stipulation that no other application can be made for 2 years. Do I have a second to that? I'll second that. Discussion.
Yes. They could be considered an active client of mine, and therefore I will recuse myself.
Okay. Conflict of interest. Okay, any other discussion?
Should Commissioner Langston consider a lesser time period than 2 years?
I really would,
No.
don't want to.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? The motion is to accept the withdrawal, limitation that they not be allowed to come back for a reapplication of any kind for a period of 2 years, and I suppose that would be from tonight.
Yes, sir, but it'd be not be the application of any kind, but for this
For special use.
For
only.
special
for
use.
what they requested.
Okay, all right.
Just as a point of curiosity, if they applied for a special use permit for something totally different, would they be restricted from doing that?
Yeah, no.
As long as it's not similar.
Yeah, not the same, not the same. And at some later point in time, they could come before you and ask that 24-month period or whatever period you put on it be reduced. And you can say yes or no, and you know, whatever your decision is, and they're governed by that.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, concern? All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Opposed?
I support the motion to allow the withdrawal. I think a short time period would be appropriate here.
All right, so that's a no.
That's a vote.
opposed.
Or,
So that, I think it's gonna be enough.
that would be no, okay.
Mr. Chairman, has been withdrawn, there's no need to hold a public hearing on the application for special use permit.
Okay, that closes that particular application, and that's it. All right, thank you. Those of you who were here to speak in regard to that, thank you for being here, but that has been taken care of. All right, back into regular session. The next application is for an alcoholic application of Raju Sarani for beer and wine off premises at Citgo Food Mart, 9089 Georgia Highway 18, Pine Mountain. It has been recommended for approval by the Sheriff's Office. Health Department's input is not applicable, and Community Development has recommended approval. Is Mr. Sarani here? All right. Are there any here who wish to speak in favor of this particular application? Any wish to speak in favor? Any wish to speak in opposition? None in opposition. Okay, this is the first reading. Second reading will be at our next meeting, at which time we will hear from the applicant if he's here, and any citizen pro or con, and then we will take action on that particular application. Next item on the agenda is a suggested amendment to the recreation bylaws regarding the appointment of interim members.
Can I make this statement?
Sure.
Okay. On his license, he doesn't give Social Security. I believe that's because he is a corporation.
No, I just marked out the social security number.
Okay. And the other thing is, would you please ask him to give a more accurate birthplace to India?
Okay.
And I think we have asked in the past that the applicants attend at least the second meeting.
I tell them, I give them a sign, I just, other than go picking them up, I can't.
I just, I realize that.
Yeah.
All right.
I do remind them of that.
Okay, good. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. We do have, from time to time, members in the rec board who have to vacate their position. And sometimes it takes a while before a new one is appointed, because we react to the recommendation of that particular, of each particular association. So when this happens, it sometimes leaves us in a bind with not having a quorum at the rec board. And so this is amendment that is being suggested to address that issue. Commissioner Langston, do you have anything you want to say on this, or you want to?
No, other than this has the approval of the entire rec board.
Right, the rec board has recommended approval of this, and what the current, or the reading of the new bylaws would be term of office of board members. The term of office of members of the board shall be for 3 years. Members whose terms have expired shall continue to serve as members until their successors have been appointed by the Board of Commissioners. So that was filling one gap. If a duly appointed member of the board is unable to fulfill his or her term for whatever reason, the board shall have the authority to appoint an interim representative to serve in the capacity of the vacant seat with full voting rights. If the member is representing a community youth sports association, he or she must be an active member of that association and shall remain on the board until the community youth sports association makes a representative selection, and said selection is approved by the Board of Commissioners. The interim term shall not exceed 90 days. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion that we approve this change to the bylaws for the rec board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion.
Yes. I'm opposed to it based upon the portion that it says they're going to appoint an interim, that M just wasn't coming out correctly, representative until the Board of Commissioners acts, and I think that it's that by, if we allow that to happen, we will be advocating our responsibility.
Oh, until the community sports recreation makes a
To hold it, usually the sports association, not maybe.
sports association, will make a recommendation to this board.
I have a concern. This reads as though the selection, the person selected has to be recommended and approved by the rec board.
No, they're
That's
not
the way
approved by the rec board.
No, to me, it reads that way. It says they'll remain on the board.
This is only for an interim.
Okay, but if you would, where it says that remain, the interim person remains on the board until the Community Youth Sports Association makes a representative selection and said selection is approved by the Board of Commissioners. Right. That's what makes it sound like we can only approve who they recommend and not the individual.
No.
Well, the word, I'd like the words changed then.
What would you like them changed to?
Well, to completely take out, they shall remain on the board until a representative selection is approved, a representative is approved by the Board of Commissioners. Not that the board has to select someone and then we select. Am I reading it wrong?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think, Martha, what you may be missing, and you may be wrong, they make the recommendation to us
Do they
for
have to?
each youth
Do
association.
they have to, or is that just the way it's been going?
They
have to.
Okay, that was my question. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to, it has to be their recommendation
Okay.
to us, and then we have to approve their
Approve their
recommendation.
Okay, oh, that's what I did not know,
Yeah.
so, okay. I'm happy then, thank you.
Okay.
If that's
So the
the
wording's
way it
okay?
is, yes.
Okay,
All right.
thank you for
Ignore me.
clarifying that. No, you need to make sure, that's good. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Okay, motion carries. All right, the county manager portion, I've asked Nancy if she would please report on any special projects and what's going on right now. Kind of bring us up to date on that.
The water treatment plant improvement project is, the necessary warranty deed and plats have been recorded, and the construction start is imminent. I think within the week, if I'm not mistaken.
Supposed to start Monday.
Yeah. Airport hangar floor issues, those are still in the process of being resolved. John, matter of fact, is working on a demand letter to give them X number of days to complete it, or we'll pull their performance bond. The CDBG project in Kings Gap, Public Works has been working there for at least the past 2 weeks, and they're currently under the installing driveway pipes where necessary per the construction plans. And on Washington Road, I received an email today that Robinson Paving has reported that the road can probably be paved in the next 2 weeks, but diverse power poles are still in the way. And I'm not sure.
Do we know where we are?
On diverse
Diverse
power?
power.
No, because that's the individual residents in diverse power.
I did speak with the Diverse Power fellow on Friday afternoon, and he's going to be out of town all this week, but he's going to get back on it when he gets in. We'll get back with their lawyers next week and see. But I couldn't get anything either. So.
Yeah, and what Nancy reported, I did talk, I went out there today and looked at it, and I talked to Stan Robinson, Robinson Paving, and he said, yeah, if the pole thing was taken care of, within 2 weeks it would be paid. So tomorrow they're doing the tail out, coming down to Mountain Road, where the paved part on Mountain Road. The road has been reopened now, it's fully, and it's, they've got all the rock down all the way, and it's I think there's one other driveway that they're still working on, and then a couple of minor issues on another one, and that's it. So they've really made some headway.
It's much better than a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question about the hanging flooring and employment of the bond. What effect does that have, Mr. Taylor, deployment of the bond?
Well, the continental general contractor posted a payment performance bond. Of course, a payment bond is to be used in the event they fail to pay for the suppliers. Performance bond is for, say, if they come in and fail to complete the project.
Right. Which is what we have here.
Right. The reason that we haven't pulled it yet is that we just can't write the paper to the bonding company and say, you're obligated. We have to declare the contractor in default. And that's what I'm drafting, and we should be getting out the next day or two is the letter to them, giving them, I'm going to just give them 10 days to get the work completed. Otherwise, we're going to declare the contract to be in default and then make them demand on the bonding company for the performance. If they don't complete it within that period of time, and that's not the only issue. There's several others, I think, that I'll be getting a bond on. Once, if they don't complete that, then we will call, write them a letter and say you are in default, and then we'll notify the bonding company and demand the bonding company complete the project according to plans and specifications.
Okay, so that would put the bonding company on notice that they have to find a contractor to come in
Yes,
and get the
yeah,
work.
they have to fulfill their bond to complete the project and pay up to the amount of the contract in order to complete it. This is going to be a little bit of an issue. I'm not that terribly familiar with everything out there, but they put the floor in, and the floor was wavy. They come in and take the floor, they scrape the floor or ground it down so it would not be, and then they ground it down, and then the wire that they put, when they pour concrete, they put some sort of
Rebar.
the rebars and what down, it ground it down to that. And then, so what do? How do you get rid of that? You come in and take the floor out, or you add on top of that, and then you've got less space between the floor and the ceiling, and can you get aircraft in and out of there? Or, you go down it some more, and then you've got, dirt between where the building is and your new floor. It may end up being somewhat of an engineering dilemma as to whether exactly how it's done, but you will still have control over it, and the contractor won't do it, and that's what the bond. That's the reason we post these bonds is so that you can call them to make sure they do it.
And they're already in default of the contract because they've gone by the time that was allotted to when they were
So we
supposed
just
to
need
have it
we
finished.
need to tell them that they're in default before we make a demand on the bonding company. And the pond was a little, had the cart before the horse a little bit, so that letter should go out the next day or so.
Thanks.
All right. Anything else, Nancy?
No, sir.
All right. Next, Mr. Taylor, turn it over to you, the anti-lighting notice.
Yes, sir. The county received an anti-lighting notice from Andy and Amber Ginn. As you know, the law provides that in order to sue a county, an anti-lighting notice must be given within 1 year of the date of the approval of the cause of action, and then, of course, there's 2 years to file in which the lawsuit can be filed. If you do not file the anti-lighting notice within the time frame, then you're barred from filing a suit at any other time. On May the 17th, on Warm Springs Road, one of the county garbage trucks was picking up garbage and was in either the middle or somewhere in the road, and then a car came around a curve and saw the garbage truck there, cut the wheels to miss the garbage truck, hit a mailbox, and tore down the mailbox. These people have now gone to a personal injury law firm out of Atlanta who are, and they're seeking unspecified damages for being sick, made sick, sore, and lame, and suffering, and all that kind of stuff. So what we need to do is deny the annual item notice, and I'll send a notice to them telling them that, and then we will also turn this over to our insurance carrier to defend if they go further and make a complaint. So I recommend that you deny the annual item notice tonight.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
To deny, I assume.
Deny, yes.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hands. Motion carries. All right, the next one is the Department of Corrections agreement, annual agreement for the custody of inmates at the CI. And John, I'll just save you some breath.
All right.
I want to table this.
Okay.
Because I want us to do some study on it. I've just, within the last 2 days, I've received 2 phone calls. We used to have 110 prisoners that we kept at that prison. We haven't added any room to the building there. We have not increased our staff. And there was an incident not too long ago where on the night shift where we only had 3 employees in the CI, over 150 prisoners. And there was an altercation that occurred. I think it's a dangerous situation, potentially dangerous situation. I think we need to review this and see whether 150 is the right, it's too much, or it's the number I'm questioning more than anything else. And I have a concern, and since it was only yesterday and today that this came to my attention, I think I'd like to table it for some time to review.
That'll give us time with the contract, I think it's rolls over on July 1.
July 1.
So,
Mr. Chairman, as a reminder, last year about this time, they increased the capacity from 125, I believe, to 150.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew we had
We've been doing that
moved it up.
Okay.
And, at the time, we didn't say anything, but I had it voiced to me now by some folks that are in a position to know that that's maybe a dangerous situation. I just think we ought to review it.
Are we at capacity now?
Well,
I don't know what the number is out there, but I think we're close.
we're close. It's 100, we're 140 to 150 right now. And part of, and another, I guess just might as well go ahead and say it, one of the things that was said to me was, we house these prisoners, and the state loves for us to house them because they only pay us $20 a day to house the prisoners, and the state has acknowledged that it costs them almost $80 a day if they have to house them. So they would much rather pay us $20 than pay $80 themselves. So that's part of it, but the benefit of the prisoners is that we use them to do work in the county, to pick up trash, to mow the side, clear the rights of ways, and things like that. With 150, we don't have the staff to keep them busy all the time, so we may have 20 or 30 prisoners just lying around the CI all day long. And that's probably not the best thing either, to have those folks there.
But we are getting more prisoners that we really can't use outside too much.
What does that mean?
Because of their restrictions on driving
We're not getting good prisoners anymore.
and the prisoners.
Quality is,
Quality of prisoners decreasing. So I think it's something that, for insurance and safety reasons, we really need to take a look at that.
this contract is the same contract we had for audience and item except for the number increased a couple of years ago, but he's still paying the same amount of money. And then you've also, in this one, as well as in the others, you've got you've got to pick up the medical,
Right.
up to $1,000. And that, you notify them if you got somebody when I'm going to the hospital, so it may cost you some, at least some money if they get hurt or come down sick.
Okay. All right, and then the table that one. Next one then is the GFA modification documents and resolutions.
Yes, sir. In 2014, you signed a note with GFA for $2 million, and this $2 million was to work on the sedimentation basin and whatnot around the water treatment plant over on Bartlett's Ferry Road. And the contract is now started. I think we bought the extra, you bought after you authorized and closed the purchase of the 7 acres where you're going to build the holding ponds. I understand that contract was, notice to proceed was yesterday. And what this will do is will extend modify the promissory note that you have with GFA, which was dated June the 24th. And it extends it, if you look under the extension in section 1A, it says it extends the payment date, the beginning date, either to January 1, 2018, or the date that everything is dispersed of $2 million, or 3 is the earlier of the completion date of the project. And I think if you look down into this project has been going on for, has been planning a long time. If you look down on page 3 of Exhibit A, you started the complete project planning back in 2010, designed it in 2010, met the plans and specs were submitted to EPD. You opened the bids in March of this year. You awarded the bids in March of this year, and then you issued, the architect issued a notice to proceed in May last month, and the construction was supposed to start today. The initial initiation of construction, I think, is maybe a month behind what the project was, projected date was, but I think that that is admirable to be able to say that you started the project way back in 2010, and now you started to dig on it, and it will add to this. And this is, like I said, this is a GFA loan, and it will just merely extend the time that you have to start paying on it to the completion of your project.
I'm going to ask the question, isn't this the same loan that we had approved May the 3rd of this year to ask for an increase of $750,000?
No,
It is, but we'll get the paperwork on that one afterward. This has to be done for the initial amount. I just got that from GFA last week.
Thank you.
It's connected, yes.
But not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
not yet. Two different things at the present time. Mr. Chairman, I recommend that you approve the documents and the request of the renewal, modification of the notes.
Thank you, sir.
What is our interest rate?
Oh, Lord have mercy, hang on a minute, find my old contract. Issue rate 5%.
It's down below, it's a low amount.
Lower.
Yeah.
Should be lower.
Here's a loan, well, here's the loan agreement, interest rate is 1.4. It, $2 million, and 1.4. That's it. And it's prepayable, prepaid. No prepayable.
All right, do I have a motion?
Make a motion, make that formal motion.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Anything else?
Yes, sir, we need to have an executive session for the purpose of personnel and litigation and real property.
May I ask the county attorney, question on the steps? Westgate Village, the roads there,
Should be I think they're finishing up the title work, and, you know, it ought to be, those were invested in the homeowners association. The last time we did it, the homeowners association, of course, is defunct, and we had to get the last officer, to sign the deed. And so, once we finish up the title, which I think should be very shortly, then we should be able to get the deeds, you know, without trouble.
All right. All right, I make a motion then to go into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?